In the last 20 years, Asians in the United States have made up the fastest growing group of eligible voters. And many activists say if they engage in politics, they could in fact be a deciding vote in a close race. But reaching potential voters in the Asian community has been a challenge. Voice of America's Elizabeth Lee explains from Houston in Texas.
A symphony of Asian languages can be heard across town. On the airwaves,
Muslim community and South Asian community.
And by phone, Asian American political activists are spreading the message that it's important to vote.
Hey, if you go out to vote, voice your power and elect candidates that represents the things that you want to see happen.
There are currently more than 13 million eligible Asian American voters here in the United States. They're mainly concentrated in 5 states, California having the highest number of Asian American voters. Next is New York, and Texas ranks 3rd. They're here in Texas for the jobs, the lower cost of living, and
when one person moves there, we want to go to places where we know people. So we just naturally gravitate towards that.
In the Houston suburb of Fort Bend County, Asians make up more than 20% of the population. But in a national survey, Asians say political parties have not been doing a good job at reaching them, including Miguel de Cones, whose parents immigrated to the U.S. from the Philippines.
I see flyers all the time come to my house, but I've never really had specific outreach, specifically from my ethnic group.
We've consistently seen that only a little bit over half of our community has been reached out by the Democrat and the Republican parties.
The reason why more potential Asian voters have not been contacted by political parties is complicated. Asian Americans only make up 5.5% of voters in the U.S., and they're not a monolithic group. Asians differ culturally and linguistically.
It's a matter of triage. That it's a matter of expending your resources in the most efficient manner. So, reaching Asian American populations is harder because there may be a language barrier, there may be just a lack of a willingness to even engage.
Stephen Wu, an organizer for a Houston-based group for Koreans called Wurihunto, says reaching people in their native tongue has been missing in politics, and Asian grassroots organizations are trying to fill that gap.
I've seen 5+ new grassroots organizations only within the past couple of years pop up. I also see more funding coming into the state dedicated towards Asian American organizing efforts. Texas is huge, Houston is huge. We need to have these many organizations to fill all the different perspectives, ethnicities, income levels that we have in this city.
Organizers say only when people go to the polls and vote will the diversity of their views and cultures be reflected and heard by local and national elected officials. Elizabeth Lee, VOA News, Houston.